name is Dean Tormey. I'm a property service rep for Dunn Edwards Paints. I'm making a small video here for new employees, the PSR employees, and I'm going to touch on renderings, specifically commercial renderings. I think it's the biggest thing I can give a value to my customers. My customers, they like my specs, and I can get into that later on another video, but they get specifications usually when the painters submit their bids to them. As for coming up with contractors for them, they do have a group that they circulate. I do find it more needed in the smaller commercial markets needing contractors. But renderings is really an area that I think we can add a lot of value. And the main reason is that humans seek beauty. That's why we go and look at the Golden Gate or go to Yosemite or the Sistine Chapel. We are attracted to beauty. Beauty makes us feel good, and it is something that we all enjoy. And that is what we have in our renderings if we take the time and not treat it as a task, but treat it as something that's going to make the world a better place. What I mean is that if you do a rendering for a property manager, you're doing it for a lot more people than just that property manager. And it's not only bringing beauty to your community and to your state and to your country, but it's also bringing assets to financial assets to the people that you work with. For instance, a painter that uses one of your renderings for a project, the property manager is going to associate that project with that painter and tell other people what a great job that painter did, because the painter made it look so much better than it used to. And even landscapers, parking lot paving companies, roofing companies, if they want to show off their product and use your building, you're helping them financially. Not only that, when you give a good rendering to a property manager, they in turn give it to their owners, and the owners are now attributing that great rendering to the property manager, which hopefully will get them more business from that owner, or that owner will tell other owners. And that owner has employees, and those employees are now going to work at a place they're proud of because it looks so much better. And that business owner is getting happier employees, or hopefully are working harder, and he's getting a financial benefit from that. If that company has vendors come from overseas to check out their operation, and those people go back to their country and they're painting their buildings, they might reflect back on the building that you did a rendering on, and now we have worldwide impact. So yes, I think we are beautifying the world and making it a better place. I kind of think of our occupation as environmental artists. We do have a huge impact on the area that we create these renderings for. I do want to go through the different types of renderings that I do in the fact of the process. You first start off by taking a picture of the project. I usually go out and scout the project and take all the pictures I'm going to use for my specifications and look at the best angles to take the photo at. But most commercial property, you're going to go on the weekends to take pictures. And that is to avoid all the cars that are in the way when you're trying to get a photo. When you're out there the first time, you're also looking at maybe where the sun is going to be at a certain time of day. Sometimes you might have trees or other things that are casting shadows on that building you want to avoid. So after you get a good picture, you then start to disassemble or take it apart, all the elements in that picture. And the reason you do that is that you want to rebuild it in a different way. And you want to have all the options available. One thing cool about working with commercial work is that you can use fluorescent colors. You have the whole color palette. You're not just limited into a certain, tones, but you really do have a full range you can use. So if you have all these parts, you have accents that you can use that fluorescent on. So I deconstruct the picture. I identify those elements on the picture that I can separate, and then I rebuild. Another thing that I've learned is that some property managers really feel that they have an eye for color, and sometimes they don't. And other people, they have an opinion what looks good and what doesn't look good. And we are trying to actually create something beautiful. And to do that, people recognize once they see something beautiful. So what I recommend in doing renderings is if they ask for certain colors to be used and even certain placements possibly, but usually it's just usually colors, go ahead and give them those colors. But also give them another scheme or two schemes more using your own creativity. Now, where do you get this creativity? Well, start going out to developments that are being built. You can see what's trending. You can see now that rectangles, tall rectangles are on buildings, and also L shapes, upside down L's. Those seems to be trending right now. I go to near the airport, in Sacramento Airport, because there's a lot of building going on there, commercial building. Also, we have a rail yard that they're redeveloping, and I go down there and look at what's being put up. I also visit my local library. There's lots of periodicals and architect magazines you can look at. When I went to school, I was not a graphic designer, but when I graduated, I became a graphic designer because I went out and learned. So I recommend that you get materials that you can learn, and it's okay to copy. You're copying trends. People just don't come up with some great idea all of a sudden. Usually we're building off of other people's ideas to get something. So go out there and don't be afraid to show your customers something different. I had a customer recently not really happy with the schemes that we came up with and was searching for a color. I asked the property manager to drive down a particular road in Sacramento where we have done several buildings recently. By the time he got back and on the phone to me, he realized that my first and second scheme that I came up with was exactly what he was looking for. He didn't know because he has not seen what current colors are going up on buildings and how do they look. So sometimes you have to educate the property manager. You also want to try different things, and it's okay because they're just renderings. So don't be afraid to really push the envelope with some of your customers on what could be possible. I personally do not ask my customers what colors they want because I want to just experiment myself. I believe in Steve Jobs saying people don't know what they want until they see it. So trying to come up with that. It's also nice to collaborate with coworkers or other people and show them your schemes and get the feedback. It's really helpful. Sometimes you don't see the whole picture, and it's nice to get other people's opinions and tweak what you have. So I'm going to go through some of the renderings that I have in commercial. I hope this helps you. Thank you for your time, and we'll start going through the renderings now. Well, I'm going to extend this video a little longer than I expected. I think that giving you more visualization on the process might help. So when you go out to a property, I usually start writing my specs and looking at the whole property and taking down notes and pictures. So when I get back to the office, I can do the specs. So it's not a wasted trip out there. But I want to see where the sun is on this building here. You can see that it's coming out of the southeast. It's around 9:30 in the morning. So I know if I want to get a good lighting, I'm going to have to show up early in the morning and when the sun's rising in the east. This is also a benefit because right now we have a lot of cars and the stores are open. So early in the morning, they should be closed. After you take the photo, you might have that early morning yellow light on the building. Don't worry about that. When we render this photo, it will eliminate all that yellow tint. Please wear a safety vest when you're taking photos. Even on job walks, it's a good idea. People are not looking for you, they're looking for a parking spot, especially in retail where you have cars coming in front of you, on the right of you, on the left of you, behind you. So you need to stick out so you don't get hit. Another reason to wear a safety vest on industrial parks is that these people are not used to having people walking around where they're parking their trucks, so you want to stick out there. They also have a lot of security cameras, and people are going to wonder what's you're doing out there walking around, especially if you don't have a vest. But if you have a vest, that might mean to them that, hey, it's okay, the guy must be knowing what he's doing because he's out there with the vest. But they'll come out there. When they do, show them your badge, tell them the property manager that you're working for. Most of these people that come out to talk to you will know that person. Also, beforehand, let your property manager know that you'll be out there taking photos or doing a job walk. That way, it'll just be a courtesy call made to the property manager and a thumbs up by the manager that you're out there taking photos. Some properties have all different architectural differences depending if you're looking at the front, the side, or the back. So take multiple pictures of the property. That way, when you get back to do the renderings, you can pick a couple that will really display what your rendering will look like when that building is finished painted. The next step is to start isolating areas of the photo that you can add color to and looking at different placement of color. So the first step is to just kind of break the building apart section by section. So you see the window trim pop outs, that would be a section. And once you do that, you'll see that you have a band underneath that you can apply a color there. And of course, you can apply a color to the whole body of the building. Now your creativity comes in. That is what you want to really kind of use as your added value to your renderings. So try to find something that you can add an element that your competition is probably not thinking about, and that will give the owner a different look, completely different than what the building used to look like. Not only do you want to show different placement of color, you also want to be conscious of cost in your design. So you might start off with a simple design and then work to a more complicated design and then a real complicated design that might cost more money. But give the owner options of cost, not only image. We are not the only ones supplying the managers and owners with renderings. This rendering was actually done by a painter that was submitted to the property management company. I got involved with the same project. I took my picture early in the morning because the building was facing directly north. And then I broke down where all the elements of the color were. And then I submitted that to the rendering department. Now, the rendering department is phenomenal. They are really conscious of really trying to put more value into your renderings. You just have to ask them to do certain things for you. So on this one right here, I asked them to put in a new sky because I didn't like the sky from the photo. On this project, I asked them to move over the address, take off the name on the building, and then on the frames of the awning to put new awnings on there. On this building, the wood is deteriorated and wood rot. They plan on replacing it with new wood. I thought I'd give them one rendering using creativity here of using corrugated metal that the rendering department was able to put on to give them more of an industrial look to this building. The owner of this building really liked the whitewash look, so we decided to put a whitewash look on the brick walls in front of the windows. You can see that when you look at the back wall compared to the brick. The rendering department was able to do that. They are incredible. I can't give them enough credit with the renderings that they do for me. It's amazing. If you ask them, they'll go way out of their way to accomplish it. So make your renderings very unique. Look at the detail. Where can you improve on this rendering to make it yours and make it better than all other competition? Know your color trends that are happening out there. Also, design elements. Right now, we're seeing boxes within boxes. We're getting rid of horizontal lines and doing vertical rectangles. We're taking away complicated looking designs and simplifying them. And also, we're pushing the envelope with L shapes, free form shapes on buildings. Look around you and check out all these new developments and find out what is trending in color and in design. Take photos that have great lighting, no cars, show different aspects of color placement, and also reverse, like fascia from light to dark, and also take other perspectives of the same building so the owner has complete understanding of what their building will look like after it gets done painted. Your renderings will one day become projects, and those projects are going to be in your community. And you're going to do multiple projects. You're going to change the look of that community. You're going to bring beauty to that community, a self of pride for the ownership and the property manager. So when you do a rendering, make sure you put all your effort into it. You only got one chance at doing this rendering. Make it the best you can.